Good evening, one and all. It is Sunday, it's the end of the week, and it's time we jump into some more good old Warframe. But of course, we immediately start with a thank you to the great Caped Goomba subscribing once again with their Prime at 13 months. Much appreciated there, great Caped Goomba. Hope you have yourself a wonderful day. What a way to get us started, eh? Now, as pinned in the comments, and just as a general point of relevance, give it a moment.
Kangi cheese, kangi cheese, kangi cheese, kangi cheese.
Thank you very much, Sir Andrew, for the 41-month resub there. Much appreciated. Hope you're doing well as well today. Yes, as I've put a pinned comment in the chat, I am running with some different settings on the stream today. I have increased the bitrate and adjusted the resolution to a full 1080p, as previously I was using a slightly downscaled 936 to try and deal with, well, the lower resolution. So it should look a little bit clearer, it should look a little bit better. However, it may become unstable because I am basically pushing the limits of what Twitch permits in terms of bitrate. Whereas previously I was not pushing it. So I'm constantly getting a warning flag on my side saying, ooh, mechanically this might not work. So I have to find out, will it actually not work? Of course, whilst I'm just sat in the arsenal here, where almost nothing is really happening on screen, it's going to look just fine. It's when we get into a mission as busy as Perita can get that we then discover just how it's going to all come together.
More numbers.
There are indeed more numbers going on. Alstu, thank you very much for resubscribing there at tier 2, and no less, up onto 10 months there. You got that lovely double digits going on. Cheers for that. Cheers indeed. Alright, so we got our purple. Sorry, our purple. We have our opening subs because you guys are just that damn generous. I love that. And we have our Ash here, but Zoris needs to be replaced. Zoris needs to be replaced. We need to replace that with... I forget the name of the thing I was going to use. Let me just see here. Was it EOS I was using before? EOS? No, I think I was using a two-handed. Was it Bop Bips Kuva Crunch? I think it was the Bop Bip Kuva Crunch, yeah. I think this is the one I need. Let's just check the build on it. It's been a while since I pulled this one out. Ah, no, there it is. Yep, Exodia Contagion. Melee Fortification is certainly a choice from the past, but it's on there. We got this Crunch Ribbon, giving us some extra crits. This is galvanized mods. So just out of curiosity, is there anything in the galvanized which may be of use here? I mean, that's giving a hell of a lot on heavy attacks already. However, I've got crit chance coming from here as well, but I've also got crit damage coming from there. It's what do I do on this one actually? That's a toughie. What stream settings did I change? I've increased the bitrate significantly, and I've increased the resolution to the full 1080p, which may make the stream unstable. That's what we're testing, basically. It's just part of enjoying a stream today. Also, Miracle Raven, thank you very much for subscribing once again. In fact, I say once again, it says you subscribed to tier 1 for 3 months in advance and subscribed for 2 months. I think that means you've just cast that now, in which case, thank you very much for dropping the triple. Much appreciated. Cheers. Cheers indeed on that. Right, I think I'm going to need to run the numbers on this. Especially as I am using Ash with Arcane Crepuscular, which increases critical damage. I'm definitely going to need to run the numbers on this one to decide which way around I want it. I am, however, getting a bunch of crits from Wrathful Advance just by design, so that's already answered it. I don't need to think any further. Sacrificial Steel can be replaced with the Galvanized Steel because crit damage is just better in that case. So yeah, that is the correct way to go about this. Sorry, Queen, to undercut your joy for Notepad. The obvious answer has prevailed. The question now is, do I take off even more crit capability? I think I've actually taken off pretty much all of it. It's just now this crit chance here, and well, it's also got my crit damage and attack speed, so never mind, it's a damn good roll. Also, Alvius Furor with the, Furor, let's pronounce that very carefully. Alvius Furor with the 60 months of Prime, much appreciated there. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, gotta be very careful with that. That thing. Anyway, yeah, this ribbon, after just 3 rolls, is a spicy nice one, I would say, for the use case here. The use case being Exodia Contagion. If I don't recall if it uses elemental damage. I'm looking at this build here and it has none on it. Did I have the elemental damage from melee exposure and then replace it with melee fortification without reminding myself what I was doing to it? I'm going to have to double check. I feel like I should know this offhand, but I use Exodia Contagion so little that I can't actually be certain. Luckily, the wiki is there to save my ass. Let's see then. Vigorous Swab, Holster Ramp, Arcane Arachnian, Toxin Elemental Ward are all multiplicative to melee to the damage. That's cute. Don't know I care enough, but it's cute. Vex Armor to bring blah 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 blah, but we're not looking into that. Projectile speed is affected by attack speed. That's why we've got the attack speed on here. Also makes it quicker to swing. It's a melee, blah blah blah. Yes, but I want to know about elemental mods. Where's the... Base projectile damage, crit chance, critical damage, stage chance depends on Zor's stats and equipped mods. Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it mustn't be affected by elemental damage. If I just control F, element... Element doesn't come up at all as a word on the page, aside from Toxic Elemental Ward, which is not helpful. I would like a yes or a no, but it's just not there. Dang it. But given that I did do a guide on Exodia Contagion and the build doesn't have an element mod in it at the moment, I'm gonna guess it doesn't want one. Because I don't really want to dig up the video. I can't just dig up the script because that was on my old computer, which means it's now on the backup drives. I am plugging those in just to check the scripts. I'd have to load the video and... effort. Honestly. Effort. Yeah. From Blue Fortress, do you think Warframe will ever have some sort of VR support? Never say never, but they haven't announced anything of the sort, so I'm not going to guess that they will, no. Well, at the very least, we don't need melee fortification, so we can take it off and replace it with something else, and if it turns out that it doesn't do anything good for us, then it doesn't do anything good for us. So I am going to slap on melee exposure and just call it a day. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We'll be able to tell, if nothing else, from status effects landing corrosive from the contagion projectile. That's the thing to look out for. Because contagion doesn't have corrosive built in. No, it doesn't. No. So if we see that, we know it theoretically is working. If we don't see it, then we know it theoretically isn't. Not a lot to go on, I know. Anyway, that is the main idea for this first approach on cheese, is that we can take that going forwards. Now, the reason for using Exodia Contagion as a setup while still using Ash is because whilst Ash is very, very effective against the Vanguard, unreasonably so, Ash is less effective against a Dactylist and ineffective against a Hunholus. So my thought is, what if we use a ranged melee weapon, in this case the Exodia Contagion projectile, to defeat them a different way? Maybe. From JDX, not sure which mod to replace the Cedar Prime build or Galvanized Savia got today. Build in chat. I'm not looking to review builds at this point in time, JDX. But at the same time, I can point you towards my older build guide on Cedo. I did talk in detail about that. I just went into the bits and pieces. Otherwise, it comes down to how you set your own build up and run the numbers. Have an educated guess what mod looks like it's going to be appropriate to remove, or could be a candidate for removal, and then just run the numbers. What is it with it? What is it without it? Which number is better? Because fundamentally, I don't have any magic trick up my sleeve. I don't look at a mod screen and just spontaneously understand the values involved. It is just a case of running the numbers. You just can't do it. Alright, well, Exodia Contagion still works, so that's cool. I'm not doing any objective at the moment, I know, I'm just throwing projectiles. I'm not seeing any corrosive of any type happening, even though I am seeing impact. No, wait, no, there's corrosive procs. How about? It doesn't help if they die, but there was corrosive, at least for a moment, on that bulk core, or whatever it was. Yeah, bulk core. Nope, well, it's dead now. Okay, I can't tell. And that was effective at killing that, but maybe not the best way of doing it. Yeah, I might stick to using the more normal approach here for Ash until boss circumstances. Oh, I accidentally picked up a gem. Didn't even mean to catch that, but okay.
They're hammering us hard. We need to strike back. There's a commandeered prime in the area. Do what it takes to draw them out.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely applying corrosive. So at the very least, it looks like the corrosive should be working. It's now just a case of finding a way to verify the stats on that. That's going to be a simulacrum job, sadly. Okay. So that'll bring in the Warframe. We lobbed that over there. Was that effective enough? That's not amazing. Given what Ash is capable of, that is not amazing. Now granted, I'm not stacking every buff known under the sun that could work here. Actually, I'm stacking very little, I am just using the crits, but when I could just kind of do this... Oh, I think I missed. I mean, that's much more effective. We'll see how it fares on other things. But yeah, so far not what I'd like to see.
Why? None of our soul damned business. We just need to get one into Orokin territory in one piece.
Invis, please. Thank you. Nope, did not mean to heavy attack that guy. I was meaning to teleport, but you know what? Heavy attack works too. Can I please wall latch? Nope, can't wall latch on the ships. Okay. I have to wall latch on this. We'll see how it all shakes out, but, you know. Also, this stage is more than a little bit frustrating, because not only does it take a while, but shuttle interrupted just because... Just because? Like, there's always going to be gunfire at it. Does that mean that the entire thing is interrupted unless I've got a lockdown frame or you know, something literal like a frost? Seems a bit restrictive. Like, yeah, I get the idea of, you know, giving defense frames a purpose, but it's a little harsh. How are you not dead? Okay. I guess I must have not noticed she had her return to origin setup or something. UI may be buggy on this. I don't think the UI is buggy. I think it is just a case of this one wants you to have total defense so that nothing is ever shooting it. And you get much slower progress whilst that's happening. It'd be nice if that was communicated. More than just interrupted when it's still progressing. But yeah, it definitely feels like a situation where a defensive frame or defensive loadout is designed to win there. Can I... full latch, there we go. Doesn't Adis hint that? I don't remember Adis saying a single word during that stage. I remember the guy going, "Command wants us to get an Anarch shuttle and send it over to them. Don't know why, don't go ask why." Something like that.
It's on the other foot now, isn't it, Galastra? Break off in this fight, Tenno. Your blade is needed elsewhere.
You usually use Sevagoths, so you haven't noticed it slows down. I mean, have you not noticed it slows down because it didn't slow down for you? Or have you not noticed it slows down because there's very little indication that that's happening? And you need to actively pay attention to the rate of accumulation in comparison between when it's interrupted and not interrupted to figure out what's going on there. There's a matter of semantic inquiry.
It's running low. Ammo
Which one?
incoming. Keep the area clear.
Please get out of my area, thank you. Second one obtained. There we are. Now, Warframe's defense. Warframe does communicate a lot of what's going on, like, you know, these waypoints are very clearly indicating where I need to be to pick up the objective icon or item. They're indicating what we're interacting with, new orders get into position. A lot of it is well communicated. The timer is popping up at appropriate moments, letting us know when we're getting short on time, when we're getting very short on time. There's a lot that is communicated,
Bastards have captured some of our brackets.
which makes it all the more obvious when something isn't quite so communicated.
I want fire. I want fury. Let a Warframe take
Oh my word, I've actually managed to pull off grabbing one of those things. That's like, yeah, one of those bonus objective gems 3 times in a mission. I have genuinely never done that before. Okay, ground scanners. Let's go for it.
And now we know why. Ground scanners. Find them and scrap them.
Let's see, let's see, let's see. There's one. The other one's back over this way. There it is. Ta-da!
Well done. Those nosy bastards are about to get a nasty surprise. Move.
We need to move out this way.
Critical intel loaded onto a tight beam transmitter.
Oh yeah, Ladybug, I agree. When sometimes you get incorrect information or misguided information from the NPCs, that does stand out. Yeah. There's not many cases of that, So again, when it happens, it really stands out, but we also wouldn't be playing Warframe if it constantly lied to us. Stream quality good so far? Good to know. Thank you, thank you. Yoink, can we grab? Thank you. There we are. The beam that ends right there, conspicuously, has been resumed. High bit rate's definitely noticeable. Well, I'm glad it's worthwhile, actually, then. I would be concerned if the end result was no one noticed any change whatsoever. They'd be like, why did I even bother? Okay. Where's the guy I free? Oh, that's not the... That wasn't the one to free the guy. Where is the starting point? So this is one where having multiple markers for the exact same thing, not a good idea. I don't know if this is... Nope, this is not the starting point, so I need to go to this way. Like, I arrived at a starting point, it wasn't the starting point. Here we go. That's one where the markers definitely aren't too great. And because of that, I'm now not going to get this order done in time. Oh well. Yep. Oh yeah, the bot doesn't need to talk about Jaya Prime anymore. Hold on. There we are. I've shut it up about that. Oh, I wasn't meant to do that. I want to try this. Right, so lob that. Ooh. Like, it's hitting him for millions of damage, but millions of damage doesn't, oh dear, doesn't seem to get through. See what I'm saying? Like, millions is nice, if it do indeed do enough. Okay, that just hit for a fraction of the amount. What? Oh, now we got this thing to deal with, and this thing has object health, so I can't hit it with crits. So I need to kill it with something else. Now where'd she go? Doesn't seem to have the results I was hoping for, does it? Okay, but if I just deactivate this, 20 million damage I saw, and insta-die. Yeah, 20 million damage kills them. Now this isn't landing 20 million, but it doesn't feel like it's getting the amount of progress that multiple millions would indicate at that. Maybe it is? Hard to say. Because, like, yeah, that is taking off a chunk. Maybe it is in that ballpark. Okay, why did I suddenly hit a 9 million? But I'd say it might be something to do with finishers being cinematic damage. The number that pops up should be the actual damage dealt. That's the point. What the heck is even shooting me whilst I'm invisible like that? Sod off. Okay, trying not to die to the knockoff Revenant. Failing to not die to the knockoff Revenant, which is actually quite frustrating. Can I kill one of these, maybe? Not enough to respawn myself. That's a shame. Could Tower and Strike them? Oh, could the operator have used Tower and Strike there? My Warframe was down. Now, has that cost me all of my built-up damage on... Yep, it's cost me all of my built-up damage on my 4. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, so now I've lost that one. So now I have to kill them with this. We up the invisibility. But there I got 11 million damage. Oh, is he healing? What's healing? Some lists don't do health heals. No, Vault, no, no, it's not time to come back. I gotta dodge, dive and dodge. Nope. Okay, seriously? I'm not understanding the variance I'm getting in damage here. I mean, obviously when the crits run out. Heavy landing. Oh, that's gonna kill me, isn't it? Yeah. See, this is why I cheese it. The projectile contagion, exotic contagion does deal more damage over a longer distance. It doesn't. I didn't believe it had that much of an effect with the rest of what I've got going on. Also, let's see. Can I use Tower on Strike? Nope. Let's just wait for the auto-targeting insta-death to finish so I can activate my attacks. And die anyway, because I ran out of time, yeah. Can we get commanded Warframes in the simulacrum? Not that I'm aware of. Okay, so now I have no starting energy. My gun just got stolen. And I'm being auto-targeted again. So I have to move literally as fast as I have ever moved. There we go. Okay. Just gonna cheese that one down. There we go. Right then. Back to testing. And that time he just casually takes 5 million damage whilst he's in the center of the arena, so I...
Well done, Tenno.
Okay.
Gather strength for the battle.
I felt like other times I had to get pretty much one side of the arena to the other, but okay. Okay. It's a little difficult to follow what's working and what's not working in that kind of instance. But it does feel like 20 million damage when that's the amount that pops up, was definitely a one-shot. So that's cool. You have to buy the Zor Arcane? Maybe hold off. So yeah, it does say that the projectile damage is increased by 400% after traveling 30 meters. Is that on a ramp up? Let's see here. So upon performing a mid-air attack while aim gliding, blah 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 blah. After traveling 30 meters, the projectile damage is increased by 300%, plus combo level -1 over 4. So if you have max combo for some reason, so you're at 12 times combo, it would be 11 over 4, which is 2.75 on top of the 3 bonus. So you'll be at 5.75. So combo does work to give you more damage, but at the same time, the arcane just beats it out. So there's that, okay. It's still weird that I was getting such variation in the damage, is what's standing out more than anything to me. It doesn't ramp up, it's just you get the bonus. You see a visual explosion come from it when it's gone far enough. Let's just pop that over here. Do a quick little demerino whilst testing something. Would Wisp be best for this setup as melee attacks don't block her stealth? She would be an alternative where your stealth just keeps on existing, yes. Would she be better? Depends. Okay, so let's grab just a butcher right now. Don't care about the strength of the enemy, just more care about the fact that when we do this, and you see that kind of burst mid-air? It's that burst that dictates it gains the bonus damage. So that did an amount. Now, the trick is actually being able to tell what kind of damage is hitting it. I think that sounded like a headshot, and I saw 600,000 damage there. Bear in mind, I'm not using the crit bonus at the moment. Yeah, so it's 143 or 600 if I get the headshot. So that's kind of ballpark that we're looking at. Whereas if I get a lot closer, my companion then attacks it. Let's just fix that, shall we? What I actually said was, when we get a little closer, damage now lower, we see a 21k and then a larger hit. Which I guess is from the fact that it's survived, and so something else had to then hit it. But yeah, much, much less damage. So now I want to know about if the corrosive bonus is applying. So if I just quickly smack that guy, that gives me a 60% corrosive bonus. Those are definitely higher numbers. Like, no question about it. Those are higher numbers. Okay, that was an orange crit, which kind of defeats the certainty. Let's just re-up our corrosive bonus. Again, orange crit. We shouldn't be getting orange crits this much. Fairly certain. Okay, Invis shouldn't have an effect on the... Oh, it does have an effect because Arcane Crepuscular. Whatever, we'll just take that off. We'll use that as a way to restack. There we go. Yeah, 354. And now wait for the corrosive to run out again. Oh, don't jump off the leg like a melon. Much lower. Orange crit, so a little harder to verify. Oh, so many moving parts. Imagine if we had a functioning arsenal that could tell us the numbers. We didn't have to do this for 20 minutes. No, don't jump off the leg. Are the focus weapons universal? I'm not sure I fully understand your question, Heleno. Do you mean universal to frames or universal to the focus call? Because if you mean focus call, no. You can't use the Xeneric one with the Onairu operator. Yeah, this is definitely applying. This is definitely applying. Okay, so at this point, best option for me is to go back to my bonkers old video on it. And what was it? It's Contagion. Exodia Contagion, blah blah blah. To do pause, don't wait the audio from it. Relevant mods. Yeah, I could have just done that from the start. Alright, cool. Yeah, element definitely does have an effect. 100k, 400k looks like a lot. Yes, we've also got Galvanize happening. Some kind of galvanize effect there, increasing the crit damage, but also corrosive deals bonus damage to them. Because we're spawning in butchers here, they are weak to corrosive, so we're getting extra damage there. So that's why we're seeing quite a jump at the same time. Yeah, imagine if I could just scroll down and see air melee projectile, and then just have the information. That'd be nice. Such a shame that's impossible. Oh well. Also got Prime Microneer on here at the moment. That's not going to be helping us. Impest? I'm not quite sure how to read your message there. Do I want any other suggestions for this weapon? I'm not looking for suggestions, no thank you. I am processing this myself. I'm not looking to take other weapons, I'm not looking to take other arcanes, I'm not looking to take other bits and pieces, because if I need to kill them, I will just use the Ash Gas setup, which works so incredibly well that if anyone comes to me with any other alternative, the answer is, yeah, but I can already one-shot them. I'm looking at the alternatives to make things more interesting, and I'm keeping that interest myself with my own bits and pieces. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, Prime's Microneer is obviously pointless to us here, because when we're up against any of the boss units, they are not Grineer. So that can just drop straight out. But the question is, what is it worth replacing with? I could just put on good old... What? When did this get sorted by name? No, Drain. I was wondering why the mods looked so weird. Okay, here we go. That's a lot better. So yeah, I could slap on Prime Fever Strike, which would make melee exposure less important, not unimportant. It's a 240% max bonus to 165 here. But it still gives us a significant increase in just general damage. Is probably just the way to go on this. If I'm quite honest, yeah. Okay, cool. Now, that quickening no longer needs to be a harshly ranked one. That was due to fitting limitations. So there we go. If I swap those around, we get a little bit more space. And solid. Is there something we can put in the excellent slot that's worthwhile? Probably not. Yeah, there's actually nothing here worth putting in, is there? Okay. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just leave it as is. So with that all in mind, it now comes down to just the application of as much damage as possible. What can we change with Ash here? Now there was a vigorous swap, which has that potentially strong effect here. What can I swap out to slot this in? Precision Intensify is very nice for the extra strength that it does to Bladestorm here. So swapping that out is kind of tough on the idea of having Bladestorm as a backup, but I'm going to swap it out. I would like to swap it out, I can't just swap it out. I'm going to swap it out just to see if this in itself gives us enough other damage. I still want to keep Crepuscular because that final critical damage bonus is huge. And we're still going to keep Arcane Trickery because the free invis for a long duration is very nice. Tempest, you don't need to keep suggesting things, you can just watch. It's possible to watch without guessing what's happening. Alright. So let's try those bits there. Don't give me the sad face. You know exactly what's going on there. Here's Bite. Alright, let's re-equip this as well, because if I do run out of invis, at the very least I have something that will just beam anything to heck and back. Let's go back against the Vanguard for now. I feel like the Vanguard is a good testing ground. Just to validate the effectiveness of what we got going on. And from there we can take it to the others. Especially as when it comes to damage attenuation, it's all standardized now. So if we beat one, we beat them all.
Remember the peace
theoretically.
sabotaged by greed and pride. Relive the tragedy you were forced to endure.
Anarchs have captured a sentient scout. Get him
Okay.
out of there.
Sentient Scout's going to go through this. We shoot it. It's no longer going to go through it. I've left my Glaxion equipped. Oops. That was a mistake. Hack that. Hack this. Hack this one. Order is executed. Wonderful.
So you got that scout back safe. We've got exactly what we need to make our next move. Go.
Yep, let's go, go, go. Over this way. Did I just try to hit the sentient? I don't think I did, no.
Commandeered prime warframes are the strongest weapons the Anarchs have. Fight fire with fire and draw one out.
There we go. Now we just work on the rest of things. Where is everybody? Your supplies are over there. Did you not have a guard on it?
Anarch prime warframe spotted.
Wonderful. Alright, this is a very early one, so this should be a little bit more difficult to fight.
It's done. I know that wasn't.
Huh? Sorry, we're going to pause the mission on that one. I need to see, what did I just do? Let's just go back in the replay on that one. Okay, let's just go back a little bit on that. We'll just go just a few minutes back, moment back, a little bit further. Clearly a headshot. I mean, we can put together all the details in just a moment. Don't you worry. Oh, come on, Twitch. Don't be a pile of shit. There we go. Wonderful. Right, let's set that slow just so we can catch it first time. Audio off. Never mind that. Because I'm pretty sure I saw something more than just, oh, you did a bit more damage. I'm fairly certain there was a headshot, but there's more to it, Axolotl. Let's roll back the clip, you know? So I've got the buff, I do the jumpy jump, I do the swing. It is literally one shot. Oh yeah, wow, okay. It'd be nice if the numbers... Wait, no. Okay, so it's not 200 million. That was overlapping with another... See, this is why we have to go through it. It's over bloody lapping. But there is 130 odd million in there, by the looks of it. Yeah. See, I could have sworn I saw 200 million as well, which is part of the problem with the whole damage numbers just kind of on the screen all the time. It is very hard to see what's actually happening if you're not dealing 20 damage per shot. And I know I could use the condensed numbers. We lose some of the precision when testing things as well, not to mention that it still ends up having overlap. The damage numbers aren't designed to not overlap. But yeah, 100 odd million there. That is very effective. Also, Mirrorly, thank you very much for bombing the stream there with another 5 gifted subs out to the community. Got out to a Karadude, to Disappointing Ganj? Disappointing Angel. I couldn't see the L on the end there, my bad. Disappointing Angel. And let's get rid of that pop-up. To a Blacklearn, to Aqualist, and to Blue Fortress. Thank you very much, Mirrorly. Much appreciated there. Alright. So now we've got an idea as to just what kind of shenanigans level power can happen there. The headshot was very effective. Understanding headshots, they give you critical damage, they give you headshot damage, and more importantly, give you the critical headshot. Yeah. What was the cause of the 4 separate damage numbers? That is itself a good question. What I would guess, and this is a guess, what I would guess is that I hit the Caliban for non-lethal damage, and then the explosion happened, which is the second part of how it works. The explosions aren't supposed to have such powerful headshots, so I don't know. We don't get a play-by-play, we don't get a damage readout, and I'm sure as hell not going to get much more information out of this one. We see a hit against shields, which is normal. We then see further hits. So actually, that's 3 hits there. Because there's a hit against shields, which then hits onto health. Then another hit on health. Then another hit on health. There must have been enemies nearby. In fact, I'm seeing what looks like an affinity number. Sorry, I've hidden the screen. I'm seeing an affinity number just behind the damage numbers there. So it looks like some of the damage is on just nearby enemies. Yeah. You do get more bonus damage on the explosion. Or just more damage in general, I guess, but That's still kind of crazy result there. Yeah, because according to Wiki, direct hit is 2 times Zor damage, explosion is 5 times Zor damage. I guess the first one got shield gate reduced and then the follow-up got the full power. Is that what happened? You can't red crit containers, no. Objects always get non-crit damage because they have object health. It's just immune to crits. It's why some objectives you actually need to shoot in various places seem so resilient, because you just get 0 crit bonus against them. Whereas containers die if you so much as breathe in their direction. Doesn't headshot bypass shield gate? Headshots do bypass shield gate, yes. I don't know for certain that the first hit counted as bypassing the shield gate. Again, I'm trying to piece together what happened here. Hell, for all I know, the 409,000 that I see on top is connected to the 135 million below, and it somehow was just not enough to kill. So then the other damage came in. But we already know that 20 million damage is enough to kill, or at least it should be, visibly. So that shouldn't be the case. But again, I've got no readouts. I've got nothing I can compare this against. All I could do is just come up against another enemy. What do I mean shield gate reduced? I mean that when you attack enemies that have a shield gate, and you trigger their shield gate, they don't take 0 damage, they take reduced damage from the rest of the hit. This is bypassed if you're hitting them with ability damage, because abilities by and large can't aim, so D said nope, they just get the full damage in. Or if you hit the headshot, in which case they get no damage reduction on shield gate either. So whilst we get 100% damage reduction during shield gate, enemies get a very, very tiny, like 95% damage reduction shield gate. I pure toxin on the stick? That's a point. I do have toxin on the stick. Which only raises more questions. Unless... hold on. I'm seeing 284 affinity and 282 affinity. Let's go back just a couple seconds. Can I see 2 smaller enemies in the area? I can see a lot of white particle effects, and that... oh, the one time I don't have enemy highlighting on, you know? The one time I don't have enemy highlighting on. No, wait, I do have it on. They were just not visible. Wait, hang on. Wait, did it disable enemy highlighting whilst the Warframe arrives? We get the throw. I can't see another enemy in the area. It is the one dude on the left and then the Warframe. Was there someone behind the wall that got killed? Like AoE damage? Is Perita Rebellion really that good for testing a build? I'm testing for Perita Rebellion, Tempest. So, yes. Trying to see exactly where the damage numbers come from. Shit, in that mess I can't tell. Okay. Check on the minimap. The minimap is a mess, but let's see if I can reveal what's going on here. Okay, so I can see on the minimap the one running in. I can see the one off to the side firing its gun, and I can see the one over here just kind of at the side. It, again, doesn't look like there's another enemy, but if there's something right underneath the Warframe, I physically cannot see it at all. I think it is just the two. Just the Warframe and one other. Which now raises another question as to why does the Warframe have the same affinity as a random mook? 282, 284. What's that about? Come on! Really? I mean, granted, they both take one hit to kill, but still. Come on. So many questions, so few answers. I think we're just going to have to get back to the mission and see if something more happens. Something more.
Pleasant, but it was necessary.
I don't know. I don't know. Let's get into position and keep going with it. Let's just shoot all of that lot. Alright. Shuttle thingy bobbity bob.
Install an uplink and keep it safe until Aegis can get it airborne remotely.
Okay, now given we need to do more of a defense here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this, trigger that to then do this, which will set up gas zones. And hopefully those gas zones will cause the enemies to fail to attack the shuttle as much. So it's currently interrupted. There we go. Now it's powering. Interrupted. Interrupted? What from? There we go. Powering. This one seems to be a much more defensible location because their enemies are coming in mostly from one spot. Oh, that's actually really useful. What the f- Round 2. Round 2 of I don't even know how I just won. Let's get back up the channel again. Okay. So, go back just a moment. There are various things that could have happened. I want to see what did happen. Okay, if we could kindly not have 360p. Are you kidding me? Quality up plus. Danke. Right then. We do the thing we want with the throw. We see the teeny tiny bit of overguard, all of the shields, and a portion of the health get obliterated there. And we see an impact proc only. I'm only seeing an impact proc at this point in time. She goes just off the left of my screen. I turn around. White. White damage number. Given that I'm not the one doing whatever this is, I'm surprised I even see the damage number pop up. She just walks into an explosion. of an unknown source at this point in time and gets obliterated. Curiously, her shields are hit for 538 damage, and there was basically no shields left. And then the health is hit for 10,537,122. Have we got a readout on their health there? Because this feels like it has been declared dead rather than dealt damage. Like, yeah, it's damaged and died, but kind of like how when you do a mercy kill, it's always going to kill the target. It always deals enough damage to kill the target. I wonder if that's the case here, that whatever's hit the commandeered Protea Prime is hitting it with you will die damage, which just takes whatever their health is and deals that damage to them. Was there even an affinity number? Good question. No. There's one over here, but that wasn't it. Wait, was it? Hold on. Let's replay that bit. Yeah, I do the hit there. It goes off to the side. Whabam. Oh, no. 28,000? $28,000. But the other one was 284. Yeah, that's definitely on the Protea. So I don't know what killed it, and I don't know why it's 100 times the value. And the shuttle hasn't exploded because the shuttle's all the way off in the distance, 122 meters away. I don't know what to make of any of these details. I genuinely do not know what to make of all of this. How am I supposed to figure out what's happening when what appears to be the impossible happened? If I stand here, will something hit me again? I have no idea what happened there. Genuinely, no idea. Also, I just completely didn't defend that and it still launches, go figure. In case you ever wonder why it's so difficult to come up with build guides for this game, it's because sometimes you don't actually know how you win. Or how you lose. Sometimes things just happen.
Come on, I'll drop you where you stand.
There we go. Now the other one, please. Only 1 million damage? We could do better than that, come on. Okay, didn't mean to jump out of the map there, my bad. So they are well over 30 meters away. 1 million damage. 1 million damage. And 42,000 affinity. I am so confused. Is the affinity from the objective being complete? No, the Protea wasn't the objective on the previous one. How was there an explosion in here? going on? I don't understand any of this. I genuinely do not understand half of what's going on right now. I'm trying to not just cheese. I'm trying to understand the cheese, and I am not getting answers. I got a stealth kill. Yeah, that's a thing that's been around for a while, but still. There we go, we got our code. Yoink. I think I missed. That took out one. That took out two. Took out three. And we obliterate it. There we are. Okay.
Make the Anarchs regret their disloyalty. Cut them down.
We need to just eliminate Anarchs in the area. That's easy enough to do. I am getting some strange variances in the damage, I swear.
I want fire. I want fury.
Oh, I didn't think it was time for another one of these, but I will take it. Alright, what we got then? You're too close, that won't be lethal damage. There we go. Come on, up, 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 up. There we are, right. Let's have a look at that one. That one might be a nice, clean one to investigate what's going on. I think that might be about the best we're gonna get for observing this. So, once again, go into the details. We don't want live me, we want me from a few seconds ago. Oh, a few more seconds, please. There we are, okay. So, we go invisible, we do the first attack, and you do see, just briefly, can I go back a few seconds? Oh, that changes the speed, god dang it. I just want to go back a second. Now though. So I, invisible, I jump up, I briefly have the latem out, which should be activating Vigorous Swap. And yep, Vigorous Swap is indeed active for 165% bonus. On top of the Arcane Crepuscular, giving us a 3x plus on the critical damage. We got the 240% to corrosive bonus there. We've got the 125% generic strength bonus, which is going in through our Raffle Advance. Raffle Advance is there for 460% absolute crit chance bonus. Some insane buffs to stack at once, quite frankly. We can see the target is less than 30 meters away. It's very blurry, but we can just about see it. And so when it hits, we get that hit there. It looks like it only hit them with the explosion, but the explosion was 3.5 million damage. Very good. So then I awkwardly jump over this way to try and get a new angle. I'm hoping that this is far enough away. Out goes the projectile. And slams in for a heck of a lot more damage. A heck of a lot more damage. Okay. So it does look like that we need in the order of like 20 million pop-up for it to be an outright kill. I'm just going to grab, let's see, do I have a unused bit of note paper? I'll just grab a new one. Right. I could use a notepad, but I'm just going to physically note this down. I like using physical notes, honestly. So, in this circumstance, we have Crepuscular active. We have Wrathful Advance for 460%. We have Melee Exposure for its full 240%. What else is relevant here? We've got Vigorous Swap for its 165%. And then I've got some other buffs showing up on screen. I'm going to have to go back into the game actually to know what those other buffs are. So this Reinforced Bond is not going to matter at all. Weeping Wounds shouldn't matter. Secondary Innovate shouldn't matter. Galvanized Steel is in full effect now. Was it in full effect at the time? Yes, it was. Yeah, so we've got Galvanized Steel in full effect. We've also got ×3 and ×1 on these things. I think ×1 is Berserker Fury? Bad guess. What's this one? Whatever buff it was, it did not last very long. Or was it Weeping Wounds? Oh yeah, that's a Weeping Wounds one. Okay, that's fine. No, Weeping Wounds is here. We have the same icon? Oh, for goodness sake. Yeah, Weeping Wounds was that one, so this ×3 is something else. What are we testing? Exotic Contagion against Perita. I'm just taking a note of everything that led to fundamentally a one-shot. So I can run some numbers on that later. Also, this hit for a total of 407k shield. And then about 3.3 health. And 14.98, it's basically 15 mil health. Alright. I've got all the deets, got all the notes on that bit. That is the clearest and most obvious result we've had so far. That's what I'm going to work with. We'll investigate other bits later on, but for now, that gives us a lot to work with.
Boots on the other foot now, isn't it, Galastra?
Which way? This way?
Your blade is needed elsewhere.
Have it again? That I do. Yeah, let's have a look. Galvanized Elementalist, which is status chance, so we don't care.
Energy's attack. Energy alone. We must save.
Oh, I hate it when that misses. Okay, we need to get energy for the Titleist. Yep. Chris ran out at just the wrong time there. That guy's having a real bad day. Suppose he is at war. Grab this very distant energy core. Did you see 1.6 build? Probably not. Have I tested other Zords for Contagion? I did back when I did the video on Exodia Contagion. By and large, this isn't exactly optimal, but there isn't much difference between them. You just want a good two-hander. We're mostly forcing in all of the other relevant stats, so it doesn't actually matter at that point. There we are. Off to the next location. Okay, clear the minefield.
Already full of wounded thanks to this minefield. We're stuck until those mines are exploded or hacked. Understood?
Time for some sport.
Looks like the mines are double counting. Don't know why. Not gonna complain. It makes my life faster and easier here, but still weird that it's happening. Yeah, I don't know what's triggering some of the mines. Okay.
Cleared. You saved lives today, Tenno. Keep
Could Doughty be relevant with this? I've not run the numbers on that, because Doughty didn't exist when I did Exodia Contagions Mathematics. And unfortunately with this game, it's gone to the point of complexity where I, again, can't just look at one item and go, ah yes, this will have this effect.
They're storming
I would need to measure it.
Hold the line.
Maybe Sentient setting off the turret mines? It could be. Interesting if the game's kind of auto-completing itself, but it could be. There's no way I'm going to get this done in time, so I'm just going to drop that. Just roll through the mines. Hacking them gives you triple progress. So you don't have to find anywhere near as many mines either. Does that nullify my invis on switching scene? It does. Oh, that's rude. Alright then.
You have reached the nightmares below the surface. You must remember how you were forced to fight commandeered prime warframes.
As long as we get that 30-meter distance, I think we can hit the one-shot. Do you have to roll a little bit after that's targeting you? That's so weird. Nope, only 3 million. 15 million. Yeah, it's so narrow. I dealt a load of millions to a load of things over there. Apparently none of them were lethal. You know what, that works too. Okay, 11 million did do about half of health, so yeah. It does look like they're about 20 mil. Why is Proteus hit point so high? I think I hit her turrets or something else, and that counted. Okay, didn't get a clean attack there. No, 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 I'm invisible. What the fuck was that? Well, that's dumb. That's just dumb. Okay. I'm just gonna shoot you whilst I'm down to deal with it. No, I'm just gonna revive. $15 million damage to Ash. Some number I couldn't clearly see. Oop. Stats have run out. 13 million. Ugh. You really do need to get a clean hit at this current setup, at least. Need the distance. This arena is just large enough to do this. Oop. No. Yeah, because that's too close. That's only hitting for single-digit million. Whereas that hits a lot higher. I'm hoping I've already killed Ash, because otherwise Ash is about to one-shot me again. Oh, yeah, that's Protea doing her little reverse Reno because I killed her, but she got better. And there it is. The ragdoll of ragdolls.
Well done, Tenno. Remember
Okay.
the fallen. Gather strength for the battles to come.
Nifty, more mods. But not the focus right now. Focus is all on that encounter. So let's go back to the channel once again. Didn't mean to click that. Alright then. Let's further refine what happened. So if we go back to start of combat. Nope, not when I was dead. A little earlier. A little earlier. Not that early. Hate the whiteouts. Have we tested on Hunhollis yet? Not yet, no. This is building up to that. Because Ash could one-shot these with the gas Ash setup. It's therefore utilizing an alternative approach there to then take that over to the others. Because I know if I couldn't get the one-shot, then it's not yet strong enough, at least to the level I'd like it to be. So that first one, I was right up close. We did have the Vigorous Swap effect. We did have the crits. We did have the corrosive bonus. It was entirely down to the distance, I guess. And yeah, we're seeing 5 million, 2 million damage. It took off a chunk of Volt's health, but it wasn't a kill. And then the follow-up only hit for a little bit. Wasn't a clean hit. Volt fully recharges shields in like a second there, which is bonkers regen, by the way. And then that clean hit at distance, we see 17 million damage as one of the hits there. That is beautiful. Next group comes in. We take the swing. So that was at Ember, and Ember is casting. And we notice a lot lower damage on Ember. Ember took a very small amount of health damage there. So while Ember is casting, she has got that massive damage reduction. It is obnoxiously high. And then you just have to roll shortly after you've been targeted by the fire beams to escape them. You can't roll straight away. You have to wait a moment before you're allowed to dodge it, which is kind of weird to show it before you're allowed to interact with it, but that's apparently how it is. Because of dodging all that, now they're basically at full hit points. Volt joins in and makes life slightly more difficult. We get a 3 million hit down Ember, takes out a chunk of health. And then a follow-up. And here we go, yeah, we managed to land the 20 mil damage. It is in just that little bit of distance. So if they're in the center, you need to kind of maneuver around to the side of the arena where they're back of center from you to get just enough distance for the bonus to kick in. At least if you're going for this kind of a setup. And then the throw over there at Protea, we're going to see a lot of damage numbers pop up. Look at that, all over the place here. Tens of millions of damage multiple times over, and I think that's because it's hitting the turrets. Is the best guess I have, that the turrets can receive damage. Maybe grenades as well. There's a lot of damage numbers going on at once there. Regardless, whatever Protea's defenses were, it made it where we don't have lethal. We did not hit the 20 million. So I need to set up. I go for another throw and I haven't actually got the crit, so it doesn't, basically nothing. And yeah, we do see again damage on the turrets. This time I'm too close, so it's not even close to being lethal damage. The fraction of it. It's amazing just how much difference that makes. And then I just end up swinging for a bit. We're doing like 500,000 damage per hit with just swinging away with the melee. Go figure. We get that throw there, opening throw on Mesa. We do manage to hit 11 million damage. I'm actually slightly surprised we didn't hit lethal. I think it might be because I became visible just before the hit landed. Let's see. If I can get to just go back a couple seconds. So I jump up. I do the throw. And then I cease being invisible. And then the throw hits. This shows just how finely tuned I've got this by accident. Can't take any credit for the tuning. The drop from invisibility there seems to be what causes the non-lethal hit. That's wild. That's probably too close. Yeah, that was too close. And then still a close hit, but it deals enough damage because she's taken enough hits by that point. That looked like it was a close headshot. We have Caliban and Ash come in. This is where things go a little bit south. I do that one long throw off in the distance. And yep. That is a distant attack. I must have just misaimed the AoE because the damage numbers are looking like they're coming from an odd spot there. Let's go back a couple seconds. I said go back a couple seconds. Thank you. We're going to figure this out. Just piece it all together. So I throw this, and looking at the beam... Yeah, I am off center there. Yeah, I basically just missed. So the AoE damage has fall off over distance, my understanding. How much fall off? 8 meter explosion with... Well, the wiki doesn't really know. Fair enough. I can tell you, based on this, it's a pretty high amount. It's a pretty high fall off. So yeah, we missed the attack there. So that's why we don't get the lethal hits on the Caliban. Follow-up attack just misses. We love those. And then Ash kills me whilst I'm invisible. I mean, what are you supposed to do about that? What is the counterplay? I don't actually see what's happening to telegraph that. What am I supposed to do here? I'm invisible, I'm just running along. I'm dodging the 27 volt beams, and then, yeah, I'm just stabbed and dead. What's the counterplay to that? Does anyone actually know if there's a counterplay, or is it just a... Here is one of your guaranteed story moment deaths. Deal with it. Which, considering I was invisible, that's harsh. I don't think our Ash can target invisible things, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Anyway, we spend a moment or two perishing, and then it's back to throws. Okay. Next throw. Silence isn't so much a counter as a backup plan, or a... no, not a backup plan. A surrender to the mechanics. That's not a counter of it, so much as just to say, all abilities denied, because screw that. And even then, some abilities aren't silenced. Fun fact. So yeah, it does stop it, but it's not really the kind of counter I'm looking for. It's not so much a gameplay as a environmental change. We got a throw there. Throw lands for 15 million on Ash. That's pretty nice. I don't see anything else being hit by the AoE, so go figure. We can have a throw in. It hits Ash for... Oh, I wish these damage numbers didn't stack up. How much damage is that? I think that's 11 million and 2 million. I think. Yeah. 11.9 and then 2.7. That's I think what I'm seeing there. So fair enough, yep. A good clean hit. Finishing off the Ash there. I do a throw, but unfortunately the crits had run out, so it doesn't actually count. Not in a way that matters. Do another throw there, get a 13 mil on the Caliban. Aim it a little bit better. There's a nice clean one. 16.5 million, plus 2.8 million, plus 2.5 million, basically. Whew. That one's a lethal throw. But then reposition ourselves to get on the final stage. Opening throw here, coming in against the Ash, I think that was. Not lethal. Not lethal. We're seeing 6 millions. Throw there against the Mesa. Okay, now that's lethal. 19.5 million in the red. You know whatever got hit with that one is just removed from the fight. Yep, there they go. I am too busy focusing during the actual mission itself. You can see my camera all smiley smiley, but how I was during the moment. It's yeah, just a bit of a juxtaposition, isn't it? But yeah, that Mesa has joined the Tenno space program, rather involuntarily. So that was a good clean hit. We go up for another jump. That's a throw at Ash. Please tell me that one's going to connect. Yep, there it goes. Ash is obliterated. So this is effective to the level we need it. It's a little finicky. It ain't perfect. It's not like Ash is targeting. You do need to abuse both Zeneric and Raffle Advance. On top of building out Vigorous Swap, Arcane Crepuscular, just having all the general damage in there. Any one of those bonuses missing, and this wouldn't have been one shot. Like, you could take other bonuses and try and make them scale harder, but that's a big multiplier to make up for if you take out any one of them. And yeah, all of these attacks are far too close. It's not enough damage. Need to pull more range than that. There we pull some range and get this absolute smorgasbord of damage numbers. Including, weirdly enough, 49,968. How do I end up in a position where I deal 50k damage and 20 million damage at the same time? I guess we'll never know. Go for a throw over there at the Ortholist. It does tickle damage, 70,000. And then a very clean hit on that frame, 19.5 million. Yep, that's dead. Leaves us just the indomitable Protea. Oh wait, no, there's still a Vault. There was. Leave us just the Protea. And then, once again, a lethal hit to the head. She takes a little bit more damage than she would perhaps like to have taken. So yeah, there's not some funniness going on with the damage numbers on the Warframes. What we see is indeed what we get, and it looks like the aim is about 20 million. On this Steel Path run, at least. The aim is about 20 million. So have an LPF damage attenuation, create some other weirdy schmeardy stuff along the way. Meaning that if you have 10 million damage and double it, it might not be 10 million. Can't save you from that. But at the very least, it gives you an idea as the ballpark to work towards. The visible damage, after all reductions come into play, 20 million seems to be about the aim. That was pretty reliably coming up. Oh, okay. Oh. Oh, there you are. Yeah, get smacked in the head again. Right. So with all of that clip watching and assessment, we can have a look at the Bop Bip Kuva Crunch. So, what all came together then on the numbers I got here? We had a hit which dealt in one go 407k to shields, 3.3 million to health, and a further 14.98 million to health, basically 15 mil. Giving us a total damage somewhere in the ballpark of, I don't know how much, frankly, it doesn't matter. We've got two separate hits going on, that's the main thing to take away. I am going to go out on a limb and say that we've got the direct hit and then the explosion hit, and it's the explosion hit for 15 mil that we can measure most reliably there, because no interaction with the shields are already taken out by the initial hit. The explosion hit is supposedly 5 times Zor's damage. And then a whole bunch of mods and whatnot are taken into account. Those mods taken into account includes pure damage, it includes elemental damage, it includes crit damage, so yeah. That is pretty much everything we've got on the build here, so we should be able to factor this all together. So, on the build, we have 2725.5 just innately showing. Melee exposure is not accounted into that, so we got 265 and 240. So we divide this by 2.65 and then multiply it. And then multiply it by the sum of 2.65 plus 2.4. That gives us our elemental input and brings it up to 5,194. We multiply it by 5, just because that's what Exodia Contagion does. We're now at 25,969. We then multiply it by the Exodia Contagion increase in damage at distance. That's a bit of a phrase there, but that increases it by 400%, it says there, but Wiki seems to say it increases it to 400%. So not a 1 to 5 times, it's a 1 to 4 times according to Wiki. I'm going to go based on the Wiki, because I expect it to be a little bit more precise than the wording that we get in game. I'm just going to multiply this number by 4. We're now at 103,800 something. Then we can bring in Vigorous Swap. Vigorous Swap is supposed to be just straight up multiplicative. It gives us 165% bonus. We times that again by 2.65. We're now at 275k. Then we have the crit math. The crit alone on this is 123%. We'll just round it for simplicity's sake. And at the time, I had a raffle advance of 460%, which gives us 583%. Yeah, 583%. So we could be hitting a 5th tier crit, we could be hitting a 6th tier crit. I think I saw 3 exclamation marks on that test. I'm going to assume it's a 6th tier crit, especially as that is more likely to have occurred. So we'll go with the 6th tier. The 7.5 critical damage here is not taken into account some features. Let's see. Oh, is this a 2.8 base and then we're just stacking all this on? Alright. Yes, we got a 2.8 base, raised to 7.5. Galvanized steel, I think, was in effect at the time, so that's another 120% of 2.8. Which I'm going to need a second calculator so I don't lose my progress on the first one. 2.8 times 1.2, that is an extra 3.36. And then we had the 3 from Arcane Crepuscular. -1 because we're looking at the critical bonus. So the critical increase takes it from 275k to a calculated 21 million damage. And I think with the 21 million damage, I've added up all the bonuses. I think. Yeah. Because that's already included in the values here. That's already included. All of this lot's already included. Okay. So the 15 million damage seen is supposedly coming from 21 million damage dealt. That's not a lot of damage reduction. That's really not a lot of damage reduction. Is there some other bonus I'm missing here? That's visible in the arsenal. That's taken into account because I counted it. Literally, it was on screen. That's taken into account. That's taken into account. You get any stance bonus? Nope. It is just the swing. Then you only have like 200 armor. I expect damage attenuation to kick in and do more than just what the base armor stat is. That's what's got me a little bit like, huh, here. 21,240,257.58 damage is what's written on my calculator right now. And that's assuming that's for the AoE hit. And I hit it with 15 million. 15 out of 21. Do these guys not have damage attenuation? Given that we are able to one-shot them with both Exodia Contagion and with an Ash Finisher, do they just not have damage attenuation on the Vanguard? Just armor. I'm saying might not have been one-shotted him with slams too. Yeah. This is what I'm pulling away from it. They just don't have any kind of attenuation. Instead, it is all in things like Perita having that immortality through her 4, Ember just becoming 90% damage resistant whilst casting in her 4th ability, Caliban healing with the sentient that he brings out, Vault doing Vault stuff, I guess is the best way I can put that. Okay. What if they don't have any kind of attenuation, then that gives us our answer then as to what's lethal to kill them. If I'm seeing 15 million damage from a 21 calculated, then if we're saying that it takes about 20 mil damage to just pop up to actually kill, if I take yeah, it looks like you just need about 50% more. Just to ballpark it. 50% more than the damage pop-up. Because they're tanking about 1/3 of the incoming damage. About. So, if you can deal 30 million damage in a single instance, that should be lethal. That's what I'm picking up here. 30 million calculated damage should just be a you are dead. Cool. Which then brings me to the burster I had some difficulty with the other day, where I was using Lavos for it. Let's have a run of the numberinos here. So in the Incarnate form, we've got various blah 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 blahs popping in, but it usually just hits standard red crit. I don't think it gets into tier 4 crit. I'm going to treat it as just standard red crit. Let's add that all up then. So, on the direct damage, 825.6, divided by the Serration bonus, and then multiplied by Serration adding to Deadhead. That's our actual damage bonus. The multi-shot starts at 1.8, but is actually 3.3. So we divide by 1.8, multiply by 3.3. Any other conditionals? I'm already deciding what the crit is, so that's irrelevant. We've got the fire rate is saying 16, so let's just go with that. No, it would be higher. That's the bug for it's not taking into account what my companion's doing, so it's 28. Multiply it by the expected crits, because we've not got any kind of shenanigans on levels. It is just as is shown there. So it would be 3 lots of... Oh, sorry, it would be 1 plus 3 lots of 5.6. And then lastly, we multiply it by 3 because Valence Formation just stacks on top and does a shitload more. That gives a DPS on this of 5 million? Without headshotting? I must have got a number wrong somewhere. Ain't no way. Ain't no way body shot this is doing 5 million. 826 base. Take out the serration bonus, re-edit in with the additive deadhead. Yeah, that's what I've got. Account for multi-shot rising from 1.8 to 3.3. Include fire rate. Include crits, treating it as red crit tier. And then add on Valence Formation with triple. Yeah, that's all I've got here. 5 million. Well, if that's the case, a headshot should kill the Commandeered Primes in a second. I feel like I'm not going to kill them in 1 second with Burston. Now, going on a hunch here. Is that DPS or per shot? That's DPS. Going on a hunch, I don't think I'm going to take this into the mission and see a 1 second TTK. I'd like to be proven wrong on that. I'm going to stick with Xeneric, because Xeneric doesn't actually affect the math here, as it's not going to increase the damage from Valence Formation because it's not based on strength, and it's not going to increase our energy because we have none. Yeah, why don't I run Primary Bulwark? Because it only recently came out, and I'm still testing without it. That's all. If you're looking at builds that were designed before the end of the year, you're going to notice things that don't use stuff that came out at the end of the year. That's all. Counting for their armor, we've already done all of that title. Based on the damage that happened in the test with Ash, where about 20 million visible damage was about enough to kill, and we calculated I dealt somewhere in the ballpark of 21 or so million when 15 mil popped up. It looks like they have somewhere in the region of a 1/3, maybe up to 1/2 if I've slightly miscalculated the damage there. 1/3 to 1/2 damage resistance, with no attenuation. So if they have 30 million effective health, and I deal 5 million on body shot, headshot gets triple, and then it gets a critical headshot bonus, which is effectively double if you're critting. That's 6 times altogether. 6 times 5 million is 30 million. That's death in a second. A lot of moving parts. I know it's not too easy to keep up with, but theoretically that's where it comes out to. I haven't been using the Burston at all because I used it once and it failed miserably, but it turns out that also could have been a bug that got fixed. So we're just going to see what happens, really.
Tasha, the area recovery of your past. Now you must go further, no matter the cost.
Alright, let's capture supply cases.
Remembering will be dangerous.
We got 12 minutes until we find out what's going on.
The loss of everything.
Another Burston dub? I mean, so far we need to find out. It wasn't a dub before. Also, Deadhead is definitely a weakness in an actual boss fight. But it's what I'm testing with for now, so it'll do. Oh, that's a gem. I was hoping it was going to give me it. Moment to look like it wouldn't. Wonderful, let's head... Ooh, to the other location. Load the auto turrets. Yep.
Repel the Anarchs.
Load this one over here. Next bit of supplies. There we go. Load this one over here. And load the one over here. Set out a wave of damage because I can. Equip the bursting because that's what I'm here to use. That guy was doing a good job of blocking those bullets, not gonna lie. Whereas those shield drones, they look like an absolute liability. Like, yeah, it gives them a shield, but you shoot the drone, it just explodes in their face. Objective is natural rules? Don't think so. I think it is just get kills and otherwise kind of on a timer. Yeah, definitely not natural rules. It just looks like you should be defending that spot, but yeah, it's exterminate on a semi-timer. Oh, this guy is very excitable. Okay, this was not the way I wanted to go, but it gave me a thing. It's actually over this way. And then over this way.
I've got an infirmary full of wounded thanks to this minefield.
Okay, minefield is to be cleared, it's already at 6%. I do that, it's now at 26. 46.
Look what my Ascaris did to one of your Warframes. What happened to his
80%.
happened to you too?
Yeah, can you kindly wait a second? I'm kind of dealing with these. There we are. Alright then. Let's get some deadhead stacks. There we go, deadhead stacks acquired. Hello, Perita. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a way to get her to slow them down to let me get the headshots in. Okay, so she went invulnerable there, that's cheating. But yeah. It's difficult to land the headshots, but that was a pretty rapid kill. But there is a definite difficulty in landing the headshots. And unfortunately, I think those Warframes are immune to crowd control and slowing effects. So that's going to be a little bit more difficult. It is really hard to land consistent headshots. Cold might work. Cold usually doesn't work against modern bosses. Do you have a trend of making it where they just don't take cold procs?
We've captured their tight beam transmitter and troves of intel with it. Seize battery parts from the enemy and use that thing to the max to send the signal back to HQ.
Alright. Battery part acquired. Battery part acquired. Get back over here. Plug it in. And then we grab these other bits and pieces. There is B. There is A. There is a battery. Which is possibly what A and B stands for. And our way through is over here. Cool. Eliminate the Anarchs. Alright then. This one is now just saying 100%. Oh, there we go. It figured out it actually wanted to count. I hope that counts as more than one. AMB anode and bathode? Ah, yes, of course. I remember my dad always talked about those bathode ray tubes. Yes.
And I feel a little twinge of pity. I remember what they did to my brothers.
Alright, let's go get our new orders. Okay, that was not what I was looking for, but I got it. Oh, screwed up the dash, couldn't see the thing I was stuck on. Eliminate air assault squads.
Damned bastards, hell.
There we go. We got 5 minutes until the Vanguard. That's 5 minutes to generate as much. I don't actually need to generate anything now I think about it. I just need to keep my stacks up. When I get into the fight, I'll have full gun charge and full stacks. That's all I really need.
Shadow, help needed. I can take it. Bring home.
Alright, let's bring home the Hivekin. Pop number 1. Take out the mine. Take out that. Take out that. Take out the mine. Mine destroyed. Hit. Area opened. I'm going to take the opportunity to build up some charge.
But we've got to move fast.
It's a little bit harder when they are flailing quite so dramatically. And otherwise die very easily. Yeah. Hello there, Tronicad. Welcome on in.
Hivekin in trouble. Must stop captor. Return kin to Hive.
Okay, let's go sort out the Hivekin again. One taken out. 2 taken out. There we are. I've got full charge on the gun. I'm not going to use it in Incarna mode right now, just because I don't want to have to recharge the gun a second time. As that can be a little frustrating against relatively weak enemies. I got very lucky charging up against the semi-bosses there a moment ago.
Turret's running low. Ammo airdrops incoming.
Wow, I got smacked into that turret. Supplies inbound. Let's just inflame the area. Roth will be proud. Not something I aspire to, just acknowledging it.
I want fire. I want fury.
Okay, so this is what I want to activate this against. Let's get a little closer. Let's see. Will the cold work? Oh, it does! Okay. Well, you could be forgiven for thinking otherwise. No, none of that, please. Now that doesn't feel like a 1 second TTK. Doesn't really matter what else is going on. I was aiming pretty solidly at the head there, and it did not do what I hoped for. Might have dropped deadhead stacks. If I did, I'd have at most dropped one, which would have been a fraction of the overall damage. It shouldn't lead to a doubling of TTK or more. As part of the reason I have Serration on the build is that I have that initial base damage, even if other stacks run low.
And not a moment too soon. I've got more work for you.
So many ways to kill you. You're dead.
Alright. I don't know why I'm even trying to run over to this. Ground scanners I might be able to pull off.
Scanners everywhere.
No, not in 8 seconds.
Totally exposed until you dig them up and neutralize them.
I found one of them. Okay. Let's see how this goes then. We know to use cold now. Cold is effective. Gonna dash cold through the arena. Cold was not effective. There we go.
You must remember how you were forced to fight.
I have lost some fire rate.
Prime Warframes.
And she's activating a 90% damage reduction. Whilst activating that. Gotta wait a moment, then roll. Nope. Then roll. There we go. What are you doing now? Nope, 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 nope. She is definitely tanking this a lot more. And then just takes a chunk of damage for not entirely sure why reasons. Dash through, they'll pop cold onto them both. I think I saw Ash. Yeah, we have an Ash. We want to kill that Ash. Ash is priority. The fuck is that? Yeah, this is not the advertised TTK. And I have lost all of my deadhead stacks as well now. But if I do that and that, oh god, yeah, I've got none of the crit scaling either. Okay, now we're in trouble. Let's switch to the Latum. Dash through them with the cold again. I can't see through all of that white light. I haven't killed either of them yet. This is frustrating. Alright, one of them down. Is it any wonder one resorts to cheese? Like, seriously? Because we ran the numbers. The tank was not like this. So there is clearly more going on. It may not be damage attenuation, but something else is going on. Does they never notice big damage drops? Well, I mean, Zom, can you explain what you're seeing then? It's all well and good saying you have a different experience, but what are we looking at? Mesa did just fall over, however. Yeah, no, I've got no stacks on the burst and no way to maintain them, so that's just out. You typed that like an hour ago? You didn't. They certainly didn't send it an hour ago. Okay, that shield is frustrating and I don't have a way to counter it. Assuming it works like ours do, which, to be honest, there's no reason it should. These frames do act differently to how ours do. Get rid of the shield drones. Stop going invulnerable, damn it. There we are. Caliban damage reduction passive, but then there's still the Ash that was tanking like crazy too. And again, not just double damage, which 50% damage reduction is all the passives should grant. Does that shield despawn? I feel like that shield should kindly sod off. If in doubt, hold melee. Volt shield has weak points. Oh, right, okay. Sorry, I didn't use any of the normal weak point looking indicators. I wasn't certain what I was looking at on that. Thank you for the pointer. It's back. There we go. And now all of them return. We dash through, just so they got as much cold as possible, and then just start melting them as much as I can. Oh, I'm dead. I'm not dead. I tanked the Ash. What? I didn't think that was actually possible. Lavos keeps winning. Although I do need to get out of that. I feel like the cold procs are doing basically nothing. They are definitely resistant. Refill from a single Amphibian Bite. I mean, I have got a hell of a lot of strength bonus. 250% multiplier, or bonus multiplier. So I've got 3.5 times as much strength as my normal Lavos build. That's a lot of heal. You are going to activate your ability. Well, it turns out the Warframes do not die to me dropping Ember's attack on them. Not sure what's going on there, but okay. I just want one of them to be vulnerable to death. Get rid of that annoying thing. Are you killable at the moment, Ember? Yes, you are. Let's try and kill you before you change that fact. I think I got her. Considering how slowly the resources come in from this mission, I'm sticking with the cheeses. This is an ordeal of a fight, and it's only by virtue of just having nigh infinite hit points, because Lavos go there, and nigh infinite ammo, because Incarnon go there, that this is even doable. There we go, finally. We are getting through them. Somehow Ash is the last one alive. There we are. Right. Yeah, I talk about Lavos winning, but at the same time, yeah, what the fuck. You don't remember it being this long? I don't remember it being this long when I just used Ash moments ago. I'm not sure if I encountered a bug or something else, but yeah. I was using a combination of Burston and Latham there with Lavos' Valence Formation in full effect. You see the amount of damage I'm supposed to be putting out. Now, as long as you shoot them, they take less damage. So here's a weird thing. We've got a lot of pieces to put together now. We have Dee's insistence that they've changed damage attenuation, and now it is standardized. Anywhere damage attenuation is used, it's using the same approach, even if it's not necessarily using the same exact numbers. We have Dee's claim that a bug that made it where the Vanguard were randomly just stronger than they should be at times was fixed. So that shouldn't be a thing. So when we take those details into account, we have damage attenuation work with its whole max damage per instance and max damage per second metric. We've got the fact that I was hitting multiple times with Ash in succession, like only a few seconds apart, and leading to absolutely redonkulous hits, and also having a one-shot capability. Do I think doing tons of damage before the last fight increases difficulty? I highly doubt it. That would be an extremely aggressive and unfair modifier. Now, part of the difficulty in assessing what just went down there is the variable damage that we can get out of Latham, especially in combination with overwhelming attrition here. You know what? Let's do as we did with Ash. Let's go back to what just happened and figure this out. From Laval, I'll say, got Lavos Prime building now. Is he good? Yes. Multi-use? Yes. Difficult to build? You're building him, aren't you? But if you mean difficult to mod, check out my Lavos guy, which Captain Sweatpants says nicely links for you. But yeah, let's take a look-arinos at what's going on here. Like we've done with the Ash setup, let's bring up the stream itself again and go back through what just happened. So if we go back a few minutes... In fact, if we go back to the first... Okay, yeah. So I think the first fight was that Ember. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Pointless whiteout. You can see how bright it is on me. So we go in for the first bit. I miss with the cold, which is unfortunate there, but we have got viral supposedly on her. You gotta love it when status effects are almost impossible to notice in their effect. I wasn't using viral status effects with Ash, that's for certain. So when you factor that in, the amount of damage needed to kill them should be even lower. But let's see. What buffs do I get from the orders? I specifically chose Xeneric because then that wasn't buffing up this attempt. Because Lavos is Valence Formation doesn't benefit from strength, and Lavos doesn't benefit from maximum energy. So I specifically stuck with the Xeneric so that it wouldn't modify the numbers from what we should have otherwise seen from the arsenal. So, we've got Burston and Carnan, we apply the cold, and then my own shots we'll see in some bright colours here. We get through the shields, there we are, into the crits. I'm not doing the red crits like I'd hoped. Oh wait, no, we do get some red in there. Red crit hit of 31,558, and then a lot of oranges at 28,092. That is an extremely consistent 28,092. We can see that basically everywhere here. So let's see if I can figure out what damage I would expect in this moment, and see how much damage is actually being received. And let's compare and contrast. For this, I am going to grab a proper notepad up, rather than a written one. There's 21. There is a 21k in there as well, yeah. For whatever reason that may be, but consistently we have 28,092. 28,092 coming up so much is brilliant in that we can just focus on that. Yes, there are other damage numbers in there. 28092 is still very present. Do you not hear what I'm saying? Come on now. It is what we're focusing on. If you're focusing on a different number, I want you to now explain why that is relevant. Don't just keep pointing out other numbers. Come on. So, 28092 is a goal. What buffs do we have here? So we have 240% on melee exposure, doesn't matter. 90% damage reduction from impact, doesn't matter. 480%, I'm going to guess Cascadia Flare, doesn't matter. 10% something. I don't even know what that one is. No, wait, that's got to be secondary innovate, so not relevant. Zedric, not relevant. Only 2 stacks of Deadhead at the moment here. There we go. 3 stacks on the multi-shot. We've got a blank thing, a use of Zedric's Inner Might, which we'll just never ever use. We've got the 120% crit chance bonus for headshotting, but we don't have any stacks of the extras because there's no mooks here to kill. Honestly proving that this build might not be the greatest choice, but we don't even need to worry about calculating crit chance because we can see we're doing orange crit. Adaptation again against slash, don't care. Valence formation, currently set to cold. And again, the rest is damage resistance, so we don't care about those. Worm is recovering at this point, but all Worm was offering was fire rate bonus because I wasn't using Tenacious Bond on this. The target does also have heat, cold, heat proc, 4 times cold, which is relevant to crit damage, 4 times viral, and 10 times corrosive procs. And the 10 times is because I've got those shards on Lavos. Ductile saying, just tried my one Vanguard run without cheese. Killing the primes took me 11 minutes to kill them with Burst and Rhino. You and I are seeing similar results then. Burston is struggling, which is really weird. So, back to Warframe. Look at a Burston. Incarnate mode. Direct damage. We'll focus on the direct damage for the moment, because we could expect that is the damage that is popping up in its most extreme there. Alright then, so we have 825.6 as the Arsenal starting value. We can... let's shrink this and bring it in. There we go. So that's our starting value. We're then going to divide out the Serration bonus and then multiply it by Serration plus the 2 stacks of Deadheads. That's 2.4 rather than 3.6. Take out the base amount of multi-shot with Galvanized Chamber equipped, and then multiply it by the multi-shot we should have. This goes up to 5 stacks. We only had 3. There's 1.8 plus 0.9 for 2.7. That accounts for pure damage. That accounts for multi-shot. Elemental bonus is an overwhelming bonus. It's not a additive to mods. Surveillance formation is just a ×3 on this. Let's see. I'm not going to bring in the status effect conditionals just yet. So now let's look at the crits. Crit damage multiplier is 6.6 times. We will look at an orange crit, so that will be 13.2. No, wait, no. 12.2. Yeah. So times 12.2 for the critical damage. Because you got 6.6 twice is 13.2, but it's 1 less than that. Just how the math works out. So per shot on that basis, we just run that equation through, it comes out to 86,374. Which is... Oh, I mistyped. Which is a lot less than what we're actually seeing. Oh, sorry, a lot more than what we're actually seeing. A hell of a lot more. When we consider that there should also then be the deadhead bonus for headshots, there should be the headshot bonus, there should be the critical headshot bonus, there should be the heat proc bonus to reduce their armor, there should be the cold bonus to increase our critical damage, the viral bonus to increase our damage again, and the corrosive bonus to further reduce their armor. What? Because if I take into account all of those features, we'd be expecting a headshot multiplier of 3.9, a critical headshot, just the critical headshot bonus, doubling our critical damage before it's applied. So 13.2 plus 12.2, so it'd be a 25.4 rather than a 12.2. Was the armor indicator actually being reduced? Honestly, no idea. I'd need to double check. But this is what we'd be assuming based on seeing the status effects popping up. If they're not having an effect, you wouldn't expect them to show. I don't know what armor they're supposed to have. We had an idea, but at this point, the idea is bupkis. I'm just going to discount that for the moment. However, we can say from cold. Let's just shove some cold on here so I can check that. Right. Cold increases critical damage by 10% on first stack and additional 5% per stack, so that should be 25% on what we had. So critical damage that was 6.6 times 1.25 and then times 2, doubled and -1. Actual crit multiplier there will be 33 times. So yeah, still not counting for the armor reduction. We're just doing 86374 multiplied by and run through all the rest of that. Assuming the status effects were doing their job, we'll be expecting a hit of 911,000. And the hit that we saw was 28,000. Jesus. And to your earlier comment there, Blink Fan, reading that the Vanguard is seemingly resistant to crit. Ash was doing just fine with both Exodia Contagion and with Bladestorm using crit setups. Literally one-shotting them. This damage number down here, not accounting for the opponent armor, this damage number is the expected hit damage per hit. And up here is the actual damage per hit. And bearing in mind again, this is not even using full power because we had a missing deadhead stack, 2 missing multi-shot stacks, and all of the critical stacks just didn't exist. Did they uncap enemy armor? No, that's not what's the matter here. What's its damage attenuation? Nithalarian? Do you think we're going to get an answer to that? Other than what you are looking at right here. That's my point. We can't really build around a mechanic that doesn't show itself. I've had to go through and find a frame of the combat to get the damage numbers that happened in a particular moment, add up all of the bonuses, to try and figure out what damage theoretically would have happened, to then try and figure out how much resistance might be involved, to maybe have an idea as to what is going on. And bear in mind, I've calculated this damage entirely just looking at the direct hit. God knows what even would happen to radial damage. Like, just that's just done for. It doesn't get half the bonuses, so whatever. What have I got that's so different on the Ash build? That's the question, Blink Fan. That is the question. Because the Ash build was that one there, utilizing Wrathful Advance Go Burr. And we were one-shotting both with Exodia Contagion once everything was built up, and with Bladestorm with just a little bit of build-up. And like, yeah, sure, Shadow Clones go Burr, but only to a certain extent. I think this is the base damage. Melee Crescendo multiplies that straight up by 12 at full stack. Status chance doesn't matter to us here. That matters on other setups, but it doesn't matter to us here. So we got 32, 749.6, multiply it by 12, multiply it by the strength goes up. Yeah, let's just assume was it 3.5 for the strength increase, and then crit here we were hitting something like, God, what crit here were we hitting? I think we were one-shotting even when it was on just tier 6. So go tier 6 and 4.7 critical damage, 4.7 because of Arcane Crepuscular. Which, even at those values, comes out to 31 million damage. And we do still manage to go higher again. Does finish damage ignore damage attenuation? Nice idea, Mr. Phoenix. However, that doesn't account for why Exodia Contagion could also one-shot. So, that's also not the answer. It's actually damn difficult to figure out just how much damage I am dealing with these setups, because frankly everything just falls over dead. The only answer I can do is to just run it through again and see what happens, but it's not going to give us enough information. The other build might one-shot for another reason? You think? Blink Fan, I get that you're trying to walk us down the path. I've been walking down this path for the last few streams. This is the point. We can't tell what's going on. We are able to observe elements and go either it works or it doesn't work. But then what? Here's the thing, Blink Fan, you literally don't know. That's the problem. And I just want you to acknowledge that, if nothing else, because you are restating a point like you have an idea what's going on. Not an idea of what could be happening, which is a different thing. Not a hypothesis, an actual working, practical observation. It could be that finisher damage is treated differently. It could be that there is something else going on with Exodia Contagion. It could be that Nethlarian's Mesa is actually just stepping through into these offices and deciding to win. But you don't know, I don't know. That's the point. I don't know how else to communicate this. And you give me a 3-word answer. I just... One moment. Okay, so, Blink Fan. Blink Fan. When you say not finisher damage, Ash's Bladestorm does true damage. I appreciate the attempt to correct me. Do you know that there's multiple forms of so-called true damage in Warframe? Where they have different rules for different types of true damage. There is cinematic damage, for example. There is shield drain damage. So when I refer to the finisher damage that Ashe is dealing, it's because Ashe is quite literally delivering that damage via a finisher. It follows finisher rules. Come on. If you're going to be pedantic and try to correct me, please don't get it wrong. You're talking about specifically Ashe's Bladestorm true damage, not the finished damage. Then you're going to need to explain a little bit more about how you know about a specific damage type working in a specific way, targeting the enemies through a type of damage reduction that has not been described to us in enough detail to properly quantify, and how you know that that is exactly the cause of what's going on to still belabor this point. Blinkfan, please. Why am I even arguing with you on this? True damage ignores armor. Really? Oh wow. Okay, guys, we've all figured it all out now. Blinkfan's just come out with the most amazing point no one's ever known before. True damage ignores armor. You've got me to the point of being this sarcastic with you. My guy. My guy. Come on. Of all the things you think I might be unaware of at this point. Miralape, I hope what you found is something good. I really hope what you found is something good. What is it, Miralape? Miralape? No, Mega's Union, true damage does still ignore armor. All forms of true damage ignore armor. There is true damage, which will come in the form of finished damage,
Excellent
true
work,
damage
Tenno.
in cinematic.
This will help our cause.
999 smile.
What? Oh, that's what you found. You found the tip leaderboard and you realized you could hit 999. Oh, I see. Well, Miralape, thank you very, very much for that £51 tip there. Much appreciated. Absolutely, thank you. Alright, let's go into the Perita. We're on Zeneric. We're on Vanguard. Oops. Yeah, we have got Bot Bip Kuva Crunch. And we are on the gas build. Yeah. Shadow clones should be on the new Ashe as well. Yeah, that uses that. Cool. Took some time to get through. It's fine. Payment's got a process. You know how it is. Alright then, so. What's the name of this all? It's the Bot Bip Kuva Crunch. It is not Kuva, it is not Bot Bip, but it is the Bot Bip Kuva Crunch. In which say, I'm curious if there was high damage on the burst on the first few hits relative to boost damage on subsequent hits. If that can be measured, might explain why this slower single hits from Ashe were hitting around 30% reduction. Yeah. We do run into a little bit of a problem of trying to identify which hits are attenuated, to what extent. Because the game just doesn't tell us. Unlike some games that pop up with like 80% resisted or X damage resisted, the game just straight up doesn't tell us. It is a long-standing difficulty in trying to figure out what's going on with attenuation. And the fact that DE now intentionally permit certain one-shots only makes it more confusing, I'll be honest. It's wild. Ah. Is this gonna pop? There we go. I think it's done. Yep, it's done. Alright, cool.
Targeting array scrapped. Our troops already on the move. Your work's not done though. Get in position.
Oh, that didn't kill. That didn't kill. There we go. So here's a little fun fact about me, J Strong. I genuinely cannot tell if you're joking or not. Or rather, I cannot tell what variant of joke you're trying to say there. Genuinely, I just can't tell. Because either you're joking on if you kill them fast enough, then they can't resist damage, which is, if that's the point, not particularly helpful. Or you're just joking at the whole, well, I suppose just kill them and then you don't have to worry about it. Haha, we killed them one shot. Yay. In which case, cool, I guess. Just jokey jokes. I physically can't tell. I'm sure that's more than just a text chat issue. What do I think of the Warframe website? I'm not aware of it. I think I've heard of the name once recently, but that's all I know of it. Alright, so damage attenuation went burr previously, and now Ash just goes like that. Okay, that didn't do as much as we hoped. We've obviously not done enough. Oh yeah, I've only got 50% strength bonus at the moment. We'll get higher though. Assembling. Assembled. More battery components. More. No, no. Say, what if resistance is calculated before the damage distance and therefore the damage is lowered? What? Sorry, you're gonna have to try again on that one. Eliminate the air assault squads. Alrighty. Where are they? Bruh. It's deploying them from that high up? That's cheating. What? That was cheating, you all saw it. There we are. Imagine being the guys on that dropship. They're like, alright, we're here. We're still 50 meters off the ground. We're here! Shove. Yeah, that'd be the right response. So from what I remember, damage attenuation starts kicking in after a couple seconds of the first hit. Not quite. So maybe Ash can deal enough damage up front before it starts as part of calculation. So that was the original attenuation applied to the Archons, which I abused the hell out of. You may recall that I did the video how to one-shot the Archons, and I demonstrated this happening with Avara. And basically the way that that worked was, like you said, attenuation simply just did not have any consideration for trying to deal with lots of small hits. Well, not so much small, lots and lots of hits immediately. It just didn't turn on the attenuation. So DE changed how attenuation worked to try and address that kind of instance happening. They raised the strength of attenuation on the hits themselves. So you've got two factors going on. You've got the max damage per second, and you've got the max damage per hit. And they do talk about that in the patch notes, about all this lot. But sometimes they just decide to leave open the whole max damage per hit to allow for one-shots. Now what's weird is that they sometimes allow one-shots and they sometimes do not, and they're not quite explicit about when these mechanics are permitted, which means you can't really tell what's actually going to work. But at the very least, you do see on rapid-firing weapons, where you don't hit the soft cap on damage. I say soft cap, but sometimes it's very aggressive. But when you don't immediately hit the soft cap on damage, you do see that brief burst before it slows down. It's like a kind of a speed break comes in. But that shouldn't be enough to make the difference between a 30 mil damage one-shot versus 30 mil DPS getting absolutely nowhere. I've only tested today on the Vanguard, not the Dactylist, because the idea was to use the Vanguard as a repeatable testing point. I can test against the Vanguard many times per fight. I can only test against the Dactylist once per fight. Oops, I didn't activate the crits properly. That was scuffed, still worked. Yeah, as the Ash gas setup here one-shots all of those Vanguard Prime frames, I was using that as the benchmark as well of, okay, if that can one-shot, what else can one-shot? How do we get there? And then do those other features carry over better to those other fights? I don't even know where this waypoint's trying to go. Not this way, god damn it. What? Where is it? Here? There we go. Good god. Oxalotl? I don't think they do. I think the commandeered Warframes kind of die. So, they're not really great at hosting later, are they? Yeah. Murder go burr. Wow, this is just... okay. What even is this zone? Genuinely. What is this zone? Because we don't need to be inside of it to get kills. There isn't an objective in here that we are defending, per se. That is not what I aimed at. Oh, for goodness sake. I genuinely do not understand the point of this zone here. Okay. We're close to the Vanguard fight at this point. How much damage do I do to normal enemies with a full setup. It's only like 20 million. Yeah, it's 20 mil. Pretty consistently. It's in that ballpark. Now, sure, yeah, they've got armor that could theoretically provide a bunch of reduction if that applied. I don't think it does. But any defenses they would have, the Warframes would have. So, what is going on? Did he just not input a value for the max damage per hit? Like, genuinely, have they only given the Warframes DPS attenuation? Because that would be the old one-shot that we had before.
I've waited long enough. Let a Prime Warframe loose.
Yoink. I wasn't going to complete the objective in time, so it's nice they spawned that instead. They're doing that, Lauren. Yeah, I have had similar experience against a Daxalis, but wasn't sure what was causing it to be as resilient.
The Anarchs were cruel, turning loyal friends into
So yeah,
enemies.
20 mil.
Lay their tormented ghosts to rest.
It is basically the same damage that I was seeing against the Anarchs. And they're dead.
The indifference lies. It
There we
wants
go.
you to doubt yourself.
8 instead of 9 is every 3, right? The primes, they pop up on every third one, yeah. So having completed 8 orders, it arrived during the 9th one. Yeah. That's what happened there. Also, my jaw is aching today. Ow. Yep. It got stuck, that's why I was aching. For those who don't know, pretty nasty case of TMJ. Ow. Yeah, I don't have enough knowledge to explain why Ash is allowed to one-shot them, but the Burston struggles to wall hell and back. Other than just, I guess, DE permit a one-shot, but if you don't hit the one-shot, suffer. Which is the exact problem we had with the Archons on release. The exact problem. So I wonder. Do I still have the Archon one-shot build ready to go? I think it was just that, wasn't it? Might be the exact same system. So the thing is that D created the damage attenuation for the Archons. They then reattuned it because they didn't like that people were one-shotting the Archons, and they acknowledged that people who weren't one-shotting it were struggling to wall hell on back because of damage attenuation. So they changed it to make it where one-shots weren't so readily available. The closest you could get were very quick kills, not necessarily one-shots, but also the slower kills weren't god-awfully slow. Since then, they overhauled damage attenuation across the board, and they said that they use the Archon style of damage attenuation as the style they were using elsewhere. But then, yeah, as the Nethlarian says, why does Mesa work? And that is a damn good question. Why does Mesa work, then? Mesa's not using projectiles, she's using hit scan, so it's not like it's some kind of projectile multiplicative damage boom bar going on. She's not using some weird arcane to make it happen. She's just firing bullets. She's just firing bullets. So why is that working? Let's see how well it works myself. I'm just going to use my standard go-to basic setup with no extra thought behind it. Okay, maybe a bit of extra thought. We don't need Fortify for this. Let's see. Actually, yeah, let's go General Heat and flare it. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. Probably. Maybe. Potentially. Hopefully. And then just core setup. Yeah, core, nourish setup. Avenger, energize, adaptation, tank. That'll be fine. Yeah. Maybe abilities are coded differently? We don't know, yeah. We don't know. Alright. Before I do dive into that, I have gone through a bit of drink here, so I'm going to be back in just a moment. BRB. Right. Shall we go murder the Vanguard? Hopefully this time we don't have any weirdness happen. I've got the heck equipped. Do I want to keep the heck equipped? I'll just keep it equipped. It's fine. Okay. Run button. We press F. Okay. Xeneric Mace was noticeably weaker against the bosses. Interesting. Okay. I suppose Xeneric does just provide a strength bonus, but crits are potentially more valuable.
Teshin began the recovery of your past. Now you must go further, no matter the cost. Remembering will be dangerous, but forgetting risks the loss of everything.
Wow, that's just not working. Okay.
Monsters have captured some of our Brachionis comrades. Need you to set them free before they give them a core override.
Yep. One sorted. Land over here. Where are they at? Take him out. Now we need to travel for a bit. This is going to lose me my Cascadia Flare bonus, but it's fine. Oh, no. My companion just about saved it.
running low. Ammo airdrops incoming. Keep the area clear.
Alright then. Grab that. Thank you. How is that so far away from the turrets? And then we grab this. There we are. Your hot take is Mace's Waltz is useless? Well, it's not a mandatory mod like some people make it out to be. But it does allow for micro repositioning and just general mobility during the ability. Which cannot be completely overlooked. Like, sure, you can just uncast recast, but it is smoother to not go through that process.
You're a lifeline, Tenno. Hope you got another miracle in you.
Its greatest value is in getting around those smaller obstacles that allow you to just kind of sidestep things rather than constantly uncast, recast every little issue.
Must help Hivekin. Anarch's attack. Energy low. You must save.
Let's go grab the core. Grab the next one.
Those Warframes are all that make you special. See how you fare against one.
That's exactly why we're here, yeah. Pretty decent. Not the best result, but certainly more effective than the Burston was. Which, considering the Burston is supposed to have higher DPS than my Mesa setup, a little bit concerning. I only have a 50% Zenric multiplier at the moment.
Tenno friend saves Hivekin friend. Valder has new orders.
Let's go. Yeah, the animations definitely do look better on Mesa without Waltz. That is very true.
We've captured their Type Beam transmitter and troves of intel with it. Seize battery parts from the enemy and juice that thing to the max to send the signal back to HQ.
Alrighty. Juicy, juicy. Let's grab the battery components and do the juicing. Keep the tank up. Grab the next battery components. And we're good. Alright then.
We have uplink. This changes everything. Get to the next rendezvous point.
Next rendezvous point on our way.
Mines! We're getting slaughtered on the advance.
Mines?
Destroy them. Or if you're careful,
Mines?
to neutralize the whole
Alright.
field more quickly.
Yeah, we'll take them out. And then should be some over this way. Here we go. Oh, there's a whole batch of them. Beautiful. I'll just trigger that one.
Minefield cleared. You saved lives today, Tenno. Keep going.
Splendid. Not sure how hacking a few of them clears the rest of the minefield, but hey, they're happy about it. We're happy about it. Case capture.
Supply caches. Make them ours.
Oh. Is it faster to trigger or disable the mines? It's faster to hack them to disable them. Reason being is you get triple the progress, and so you don't need to find as many mines. So yeah, you could just go around finding them all and triggering every single one. Or just hack 4 or 5 of them and you're good. I'm going to focus on the case capture, because that can go wrong. If the Warframe wants to attack me, it's going to need to come and attack me.
Cache is captured. Marking your next target.
Oh, here we go. Not as impressive as earlier. Okay. Interesting. You don't know hacking gave more progress? Yeah, it does. I'm not sure they mention it. They just kind of put it there as an alternative option, as if we couldn't tank it. But no, it does actually just do triple. Just one of those things. Not to mention it in the dark. Does he mention it's more effective, or does he just say, or if you're careful, you can hack them? I'll be honest, he says a lot of things, so the detail escapes me whilst I'm also focused on the rest. But if he says it's faster, then fair enough. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to one-shot anything with the heck with this setup.
Enough. Let Ballas's nightmares face their own kind.
There you go. Where'd you go? There you are. Yeah, Mesa is proving to be very effective at this, which is kind of weird looking at the damage numbers popping up. I just don't feel like I have enough damage for it to justify being as effective as it is compared to Burston. Reinforcements? Flap. Flap. I think that was well executed. Oh, no, never mind. There's the way. What am I using on it? Not secondary fortifier at the moment, because that's... Isn't that the one that does bonus damage to Overguard and gives you Overguard? By and large, the Vanguard don't have Overguard.
Fawning fools think you're the only ones with Warframes? Allow me
Eh.
to educate you.
Commandeered Mesa, obliterated. Someone else said that they use the crit bonus one of the focus schools, and that was more effective for them than Xeneric, but Xeneric's just the school I'm on at the moment. Shuttle uplink. Let's see how this goes with Mesa. Hey, shuttle engine is powering. Tick, 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 tick. And what if I stop defending? So we get interrupted? Interrupted. Tick, 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 tick. Oh, that is powering again. Never mind. The interruption got interrupted. Let's move further away. Yeah, it's about half the speed eyeballing it. Oh yeah, the energy bar is kind of a little bit insane. I've got over 1,300 energy. I need a way to deal with you. I found a way. The shuttle is just barely not going to finish. I think it just barely didn't finish because I tested how much slower it is when I don't protect it. That's unfortunate. Okay, let's see how this goes then.
The Anarchs were cruel.
I mean, that's pretty effective.
Friends into maddened enemies. Lay their tormented ghosts to rest.
Like, this is pretty damn effective. I still have no idea why Bursting is so bad at it then. Keep up the tanks. I might need it on the final stage here. Get them off me because melee. And Mace's Waltz proving its value as I dodge Embers. Never mind. Okay. Nope. Okay. Well, I survived most of it. Up until, yeah, a little too much at once. There we go.
Even with prime warframes turned upon you,
Okay.
you were victorious.
How do you make the shuttle uplink as sufficient as possible? So long as it's not taking damage, it moves at full speed. That's all it seems to be. Just don't let there be damage to it. Whenever it takes an instance of damage, it just gets slower. And so those ships that come overhead with the rapid firing guns, they tend to just hold it on permanent pause. Well, not pause, permanent slow speed. Okay. So what is the DPS of this build? Before factoring in strength for a moment, what is the DPS of this build? We've got 1728.2 base here. We've got no pure damage bonus of itself, but we do have strength is a pure damage bonus. So Galvanized Shot is probably just ineffective, given the amount of strength we should be getting during the encounter. We come in with 155% strength, which is not a lot. But then I ended up on triple, so that was 465% effective strength in that final fight. So yeah, the bonus from Galvanized Shot would not be very much here. Likewise from Cascadia Flare. In fact, those two together are almost not really needed once you're up against the final boss, but it helps along the way to get there. Have I got any shards on? I've got casting speed and max energy filled. Okay, who cares then? That's fine. Yeah, so 1728.2. If we just triple that for the effect of the strength bonus from completing the orders. And these are not likely to add up to much in comparison. I'm just going to leave those out for now. We'll be aware that they're there, but they shouldn't be too crazy. We got a fire rate of 38.48. We've got our element bonuses. 60%, 165, 60%, so that's 120. plus 165, that's 285. So we've got a 3.85 element bonus there. But then we'd have Nourish with triple effect for another 210. That's not even double. Not even double. Isn't Rad resistant Perita? It might be, but then I've just got a mix of things on there anyway. So, some benefits, some losses. It shakes out fine enough. I'm not going to complain. Okay, so taking the base damage, tripling it, or rather, arsenal damage, tripling it, bringing in the fire rate, bringing in the extra bonus from Nourish, and then with the crits we had Arcane Avenger, did we not? Yeah, we have Arcane Avenger on there. I was using Muzzle Flash as well. Huh. Didn't realise. Yeah. With Arcane Avenger on there, we can basically say it's just always yellow critting and just call it day on that for the numbers. To multiply that by 7.5, this comes out to a DPS of 2.3 million. Without accounting for Galvanized Shot and Cascadia Flare. So yeah, adding on those benefits, we'd be expecting a time to kill in the range of a few seconds, and that is what we saw there. Why not Hot Shot? Because I wasn't using Hot Shot, that's why. This build wasn't made today. This was just used today. Was it a good idea to put 3 orange Archon shards in your Titania? I don't know, did it make your build better? I don't know what your build is, only you know your setup. So you should know if it helped you or not. Yeah, numerically this comes out to somewhere in the low millions of DPS, all told. And somewhere in the low millions of DPS against something with 20 to 30 billion effective hit points. Not entirely sure on that at this point. That sounds about right. Except for the fact that the Burston should have obliterated that and it didn't. And the Latum should obliterate that and it didn't. I'm missing something fundamental here. And I really don't know what it is, because I'm missing it. And that's frustrating. No. More Chaos Sim, I guess. Exalted weapons don't get nerfed for some reason. Exodia Contagion, though? That's not an exalted weapon. That's an old school melee with an event arcane attached. Was the Latum not obliterating them? It wasn't, no. It got the work done eventually, but it was very, very far from obliteration. Very far. I had to recharge it multiple times over whilst with Venice Formation on it. Cheers, Quack Doctor. So yeah, whatever was going on was also just not being fun there, and that includes using secondary innovate, so it's not like I was hiding from the higher crit setups to just multiply up the damage further. I'm at a loss. There's just too many moving parts. I genuinely can't see through these trees. But I can see that. Mirrorly, thank you very much for gifting a sub to Warframe. If they're here at the moment, I'm sure they would say thank you very much for that. Cheers, Mirrorly. Ezon, feel free to have a look back at the VOD and tell me what I was doing wrong if you have a different experience. Make sure you remember the difference between normal and steel path, of course, but that's kind of stating the obvious at that point. But yeah, that's... the struggle was real. Meanwhile, Ash go Burr. I got nothing. Have I tried Clever with a big stick option? I basically have, on account of Ash using Wrathful Advance. So, yeah, been there, done that. Yo! Wait, why is it not coming through? OBS? Stream Elements? Hello? Pick it up. I can see it in the chat. It is right there. Let them have their moment. Oh, we can notice the follow, can we? Hold on, let me refresh that widget. And it's gone black screen. Okay! Right. That's not great. Can I manage this from outside? Because Tilly deserves to have their moment. Come on. There it is.
Big fan.
Thank you, Tilly. I don't know why that was such an ordeal. Why? Stream Elements, bruh. All the same. Tilly, thank you very much for the 46 months of support there. Much appreciated. I hope you are still a fan, even after Stream Elements tries to sabotage the moment. Oh dear, oh dear. Miro saying, did try Maduro with your burst and Lamos. It was better, but this was expected. As in, yeah, Maduro, because I was using Zenrig before, intentionally to not have a benefit from the focus school to try and see it. Let's see, Maduro, primary damage, primary and secondary damage and fire rates. I mean, yeah. Yeah, straight up, of course, that should have a positive impact. How much of an overall impact is a little hard to say, but yeah. If you do 8 orders, you should be getting, what, triple damage, triple fire rate, which is a 9 times DPS increase. But the question remains why you would need a 9 times DPS increase to equate with something that was one-shotting from a much lower starting point. I'm still confused. And I'm not going to get an answer. As much as I think about it, as much as I beg the situation, it's clear to me I'm just not going to get an answer on that one until someone far smarter than me decides to take a look at it. Or until D decide to spill the beans, whichever comes first. So instead of breaking my head against that wall, we're just going to wrap it up there. And bid you all adieu as you try to figure it out yourselves, if you do indeed take a run at it. Ductile to finish off saying, try to run with a Strun without using the Incarnate, it had no problem. I don't know what to make of that. Yeah, that worked. My gun didn't. Maybe I had a bug. Maybe I accidentally... Wait. Just in case. Nope. No dragon keys. Yeah, I'm just going to wrap that up. I have no idea what's going on. I'll catch you all in the next one when I go live on Wednesday. Have yourselves a good start to the week. Be our best selves. Bye.